Hi, my name is Anna and I work with We Are Open Cooperative. This talk was originally intended to be held at the EPIC 2023 conference in Vienna, but due to a COVID infection, I wasn't able to give this talk, and this is why I'm recording it for you right now. So we are Open Cooperative work on projects at the intersection of technology, community, and learning. I am myself am a media educator, which is why I'm interested not just in the technologies and the media itself, but also the ways in which we use them and approach them. And in addition to that, I am very interested in feminist pedagogy as part of my practice. This is why I'm giving this talk as well. And I want to introduce you today a problem that I and also many others see in the workplace, and that we have to look at if we want to create equity and a good workplace. To give you examples, I have collected some headlines that can illustrate this issue a bit better. One of the most discussed problems is probably the gender pay gap, which is still a massive problem that affects a tremendous amount of workers worldwide. And a lot of the workplaces that are occupied by women are usually the most underpaid ones, for example, nurses or other care workers. But there are also many other forms of discrimination, for example, women who have kids, also trans people having to face transphobia in the workplace, and also in various other places. And of course, wage racism, which is a massive societal problem everywhere, not just in the workplace, but also there. Not all of these issues make the headlines. Others are more subtle or more hidden, like this person on LinkedIn pointing out that nowadays it is just not necessary to rely on a single demographic to lead organizations and sectors, which I think is very, very true. And I bet every woman or person that has been socialized as a female in this room or listening to this recording has experienced some sort of discrimination or really bad behaviors in the workplace. In my opinion, open recognition can be a tool to tackle some of these issues because open recognition is the awareness and appreciation of talent, skills, and aspirations in a way that go beyond credentialing, and it is a more holistic approach to look at a person. The goal of open recognition is to create a more inclusive and equitable system of recognition, encouraging lifelong learning and creating more opportunities for people to learn and develop their skills throughout their lives. This is, of course, something that is important for a workplace and the future of work. For example, when I started working with We Are Open and got introduced to open badges and open recognition, I quickly realized that it has a lot of things in common with the goals of feminism, which brings me to the next bit of my talk. Most people think that feminism is angry women that yell way too much and who hate all men. Maybe it looks like this. Um, Most people think this is what all feminism looks like, and even though this is a very valid form of feminism, this is not at all what feminism looks like, or what all feminism looks like. To quote the very inspiring and brilliant bell hooks, simply put, feminism is a movement to end sexism, sexist exploitation, and oppression. She also points out that this definition means that it doesn't imply that men are the enemy, but rather points to the heart of the problem, that is sexism and oppression, which means that everybody, also women, can be sexist. Um, and this brings me to another layer I want to add to this. That's the intersectionality. Intersectionality is a concept that has been first introduced by Kimberly Crenshaw, a person who works as a law professor and civil rights advocate. The concept of intersectionality describes how different aspects of a person's identity, like their gender, race, social class, and other characteristics, overlap and interact with each other. This graphic on the right side of the slide shows a very broad stroke of intersectionality. It is actually much more nuanced. For example, there's a difference between a person who is able-bodied and a person with a disability. It also makes a difference if you are the first person in your family that attends a higher education. Intersectionality recognizes that people can face multiple forms of discrimination or disadvantage at the same time. To give you another example, a Black woman might experience discrimination in ways that are different from both white women and Black men. And this concept helps us to understand these complex experiences by looking at how all parts of a person's identity come together. And now I want to show you where I see the connection between feminism and open recognition. I collected words that describe the things that feminism is doing. And I'm pretty sure that those of you who work in recognition and with open badges came across those words as well. Our work is about advocacy, empowerment, and autonomy. To sustain an equal workplace, it is crucial to acknowledge the nuances between identities, skills, and talents of all workers. Open recognition, as well as open badges, is a way to help recognize differences in identities and highlight skills, aspirations, and talents. Feminism's goal is to create spaces everywhere that are equally accessible for everybody, don't discriminate against certain groups, and overcome many different kinds of inequalities. This is why I think open feminist workplace recognition, to make it sound super complicated or rather sophisticated, is something we all should aspire to do. This image that you see here can have so many metaphors. Originally, it was meant to describe the way in which open badges help us to illustrate multiple career pathways, and not only the most straightforward ones, but the that like none of us had. The ones who've been to Epic heard that also in Mina's talk. But I think it also can be used as a metaphor on how the default setting of a white cisgendered male can climb the career ladder much faster because their way is much easier. Or to put it in gaming terms, they are playing live on the easiest difficulty setting. I now want to introduce some ideas of what makes a workplace feminist. So, for example, equal and appropriate payments for all workers. Diverse leadership. With diverse leadership, you have multiple voices and needs raised. Another thing that is important is the work-life balance, which means providing flexible work arrangements, parental leave, and maybe also childcare assistance. And this is also something that starts already with meeting times. Are people who have kids or have to take care of kids able to attend those meetings that are important for the job? Another big thing is mentorship and support. So establishing a mentorship program and help people develop professionally and giving them opportunities that are doable for everybody. And the last thing that I put on this list, which can go on forever, is creating a safe and inclusive environment. So this means you have to create a workplace culture that actively addresses and prevents discrimination and harassment, like using nonviolent metaphors, for example, and other things that makes people feel safe in their workplace. So if you now think, Baran, this is all very theoretical stuff. What do I have to do to create a more feminist workplace? I have 3 examples for you that are practical that you can do to create better open feminist workplace recognition. To do this, I use a method of feminist pedagogy that I put together in a course and that I will also show you in a second. At first, we have the habits of the head, which are our ways of thinking and knowing. And a practical thing to do as a habit of a head, of the head, is raising the question of how do we know what we know. For example, you could have a code of conduct as soon as you bring people together. If you want diverse voices to be heard, you have to create a safe environment. And for a safe environment, you need to set some ground rules. This is also a little nudge to the EPIC conference because I wasn't able to find a code of conduct on your website. So maybe you want to have a look into this. This is an example of how a code of conduct could look like. This one is from We Are Open. I took this from the wiki, which is also open, and you can have a look at it. And yeah, there are just some basic rules and things to keep in mind when working with us or when we work with other people. And I think this is something that everybody should take a look at. For another example, we have the habits of the heart, which are the values that guide us. Here we have questions like who is in power, what are people in power doing, etc. I'm really narrowing it down right now because I'm conscious of time. Um, a question you could yourself ask over here, which were also in the intersectionality, which I already told you about. On which difficulty setting are you playing live? Reflect on your own privileges. Be aware that other people are playing live in different difficulty settings and that discrimination can pile up in a person's life. A third thing you could do is, of course, to use open badges to encourage pro-social behaviors to empower people in your workplace. And because the habits of hand are our practices informed by our habits of the head and the heart, it means that we have to reflect on those as well before creating badges. So, to show you examples of badges that already exist that I think are doing exactly this, for example, we have the Missed by We Are Open badge at work, which basically gives you a badge for missing at work, which sounds weird at first, but if you think about it, it's encouraging people, or not encouraging them to like miss a day of work, but it's telling them that it is okay to miss a day because you need a mental health day or there's something else that came up spontaneously and you have to miss a day of work or you forgot about a meeting because you had other things in mind. It is okay to miss a day of work. Another badge that I really like, it's from the ORE community. It's the Harmony Keeper. And this badge is for people that are maintaining the harmony within the community. For example, in a thread where things might get a bit harmful, they jump into this thread and make sure that everybody feels safe and that the harmony is maintained. Then we have the Hofmeister also in the ORE community, which is a badge for people that come to the help of others. So if somebody's asking for help in the community, they are the ones that jump in there and help them. And another one from We Are Open is the Pick Up the Reins badge, which is for people who take a project and they just pick up the reins and go with it. They don't ask for permission necessarily, they just do it, which is also something that is a behavior that some people need to learn. I myself had to learn. So those were my three examples of three things you could do. Having a code of conduct, reflect on your own privileges, and create open badges that encourage pro-social behaviors and also empower people in the workplace. To learn more about feminist pedagogy and the habits of the head, the heart, and the hands, I created this free email course that you can subscribe to and learn more and go more down the rabbit hole of feminist pedagogy. I encourage you to do this. To end this talk, I want to invite you into the Open Recognition is for Everybody community on the Participate platform, where we talk all things open recognition. You can ask us questions, you can bring in your topics, you can come to a community call, and yeah, we're happy to see you there. Come and join us. If you don't know where to start, go to badges.community where you find all the links to all the things open recognition. For example, the community itself, but also the brilliant open recognition toolkit that we created and launched at the EPIC conference, which is a handbook on open recognition and helps you getting started with all the things you need to know. This was my talk. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And if you have any questions, write me an email, comment this video. I like to hear from you and what your thoughts are. Thank you very much and goodbye.